This morning, I woke up feeling very stressed, feeling tired, feeling exhausted, feeling depressed in whatever way you want to term it. And something whispered silently in my ears and said, Matthias, the way you engage your morning determines how your day goes. And exactly the point. I just want to share with you that the way you engage your morning as a person, when you wake up in the morning, the way you engage your morning determines how your day goes. Good morning and a pleasant welcome to another fascinating edition of the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We are here Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Today is Tuesday and it's the 18th day, right? It's the 18th day of the month March. 10 more days to my birthday. My birthday is the 28th of March. This year, I'm expecting gifts. Absolutely. But good morning. Welcome. Markia, good morning. Why do you seem so serious like you are the president of the Republic of Liberia thinking about problems and solving them?
No, not really. My fires. No, I'm trying to settle some technical.
Absolutely. I trust that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. But this morning, we're going to be talking to some innovative young women. They are called Girls for Change. Girls for Change Initiative is an organization that's established by a young woman called Christiana Miracle Bemba is going to be our guest along with her colleagues. They're going to be joining us to talk about Girls for Change Initiative. They are concerned about the way young women are treated after the Civil War. Things have changed a lot. And I couldn't agree more with Christiana when she shared with me some of the things that have changed. Those days while growing up, no matter how small a girl may be, we'll wake up from our seats and give her the chair or whatever we're sitting on for her to sit down. Today, you don't see these things. The last time I tried it on a public transport, a fellow attacked me. But thanks to my mothers and my sisters that fought for me that day. There's a girl that was standing with carrying a heavy handbag. I'm sure she had lots of stuff in it. And I noticed that she needed to rest. She needed to relax so that she could carry her bag. I woke up, from my seat on the NTA bus and I asked her to sit down. She sat down and she said, "Thank you, brother." I mean, that thank you that was really honest for me. I felt that I have touched someone's life. But a few minutes later, in fact, in less than a minute, a fellow attacked me. He said, "This is a way you guys make women arrogant and all of that." But while growing up, I know where I grew up. I know where I was brought up. I know who brought me up. Oh, Grandpa Sakila, I cannot ignore the discipline you put in me. So if I should give a woman seat anytime and a guy gets angry with me, no problem. But I will do that every day and every day. So Girls for Change initiative is concerned about some of the changes, things that have happened in our society since the war came. I'm very sure some of them are very young that they did not see the war, but they were told stories about how life used to be. So they're going to be our guest at 8 o'clock this morning to talk about their organization, to talk about what they're going to be engaging with, how they're going to help young people get educated in terms of self-esteem and all of that. But before we get to that, we're going to go to the foreign ministry. Without further waste of time, Marco is going to bring us something from the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yesterday on 50-50, I discussed exclusively the issue regarding this report of restrictions that the U.S. government has released against nations around the world, both Western, Eastern, Southern, African nations as well. And Liberia got affected, but luckily for Liberia, we fell, on the yellow list, which means we have 60 days to settle the matter that the United States government has with us. Our issue, I'm very sure the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is dealing with it right now. Yesterday, I had a conversation with Minister Dr. Yen, and we had a brief conversation. And I mean, I think he's an easygoing guy. He's somebody really, really accessible. That's how government officials should be. I must appreciate him for, just promptly he responded to my message. Even this morning, he sent me another message, and I'm going to do the needful. So let's go into it. Let Mark your phone.
So before we play that video or audio
Right.
Matthias, just to clarify this, the foreign minister, Madam Sarah Beslow Yanti, said the issue of Liberia being placed on yellow list,
Right.
or any visa restriction thing.
Mhm.
She said, even though she cannot confirm, but that information, it is yet to be scrutinized. That is, they have written the American embassy, and up to this time they have not received any response. But the information that were posted on social media, according to her, they were posted on the
New York Times.
The New York Times, right? And that information is yet to be confirmed. So I don't want us to say Liberia have been placed on it, because it is not yet confirmed.
Well, Markel, that's her word. That's the ministry's statement.
Okay.
Because they have not gotten a response from the U.S. embassy, does not mean the information is not true. The New York Times is a reputable, very, very. Have you heard Trump, discussing New York Times in a negative way?
Obviously.
Has he done that? New York Times?
No, but
I mean, he usually deals with Fox News, he said Fox News is fake news and all of that, but he respects New York Times.
New York Times, just how Liberia is, I think America is also in that line, where in a specific political party or government do business with certain institutions. So New York Times having to be that institution that I think Trump respect a lot and do business with.
So I am not sure the New York Times, giving its reputation, will come to the public with information that it did not verify. But in a way, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also, the onus is on it to ensure that it verifies the information and informs the Liberian public properly on the status of our country. Because as we speak, there are people who want DV, right? There are people who just want to travel. They have visiting visas, all right? One of the things I heard her say is that one of the major problems that she has identified with Liberian passport is overstay. Liberian visas is overstay. People get to the US for visit and all of that. They do not want to come back. They are there for a month, and they don't want to come back. They remain there, and sometimes they just want to stay there and hustle their way around to regularize their status. That, for her, she said, that's one of the major problems that she has identified so far. But Liberia has put in stringent measures in ensuring that people do not, our passports, whether diplomatic, ordinary, or whatever, do not land in the wrong hands. But do we have the clip?
Yeah, it's also.
All right, let's listen to her briefly.
On the issue of the U.S. visa restriction, the information that we received in the news, along with everybody else through social media, was a surprise to us. We immediately contacted the U.S. ambassador, the government, through the ambassador, to ascertain as to the validity of what was being purported on social media. As of the weekend, the ambassador indicated to me that he had no information in relation to this and would seek more clarification. Subsequently, we issued a démarche to the U.S. government that indicates that officially we have heard this from the reports from the New York Times that is being reported as a draft. We don't know if this is true or not, but should it be true, should it be valid, we then stipulated all the reasons why Liberia should not be on that list. We outline all of the steps that have been taken by Liberia over the last 1 year. We give them succinctly to him and ask him to please look into it. That démarche has been issued. The U.S. government has that démarche, and we look forward to hear from the U.S. in relation to that. There are lots of speculations around why Liberia would be on that list, if that list is indeed true. And I want to stress the point of if it is indeed true. And why do I stress that? I stress it because we have other lists circulating around here about deportations and so forth, mass deportation and all of that. the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, under my leadership, we went to DC. We went to Washington, D.C. I went with Assistant Minister Connor, who covers American affairs. We engaged with key people in the administration. We engaged our State Department, and today we engaged with ICE through the embassy. And to date, that information cannot be validated. So I would just want to caution us not to see that news report as being an actual and start to run with the assumption of why when we have not even validated. However, we're not taking it lightly because we know there could be truth to it. There could be discussions happening where we are part of a yellow list. And because of that, we've issued the démarche and giving all the information to the U.S. Embassy to remind us of all the steps we've taken that would necessitate them to take us off that list. And if you would like, Senator, I can go into some of those points that we shared with the U.S. in the démarche. Let me share with you a copy of the démarche issued to the U.S. We will continue to have a conversation on passports until we fully change passport and put in place a brand new system. It is work in progress. I want us to know all that has been done, a lot has been done. And I want us to know that because of those conversations that you and I had during that transition, that's why in 2 to 3 weeks of taking office, we started with the US and started engaging them on the issue of passports. On the issue of the visa restriction, should Liberians expect in 60 days they won't have visa access to America? I don't think so. I'm giving you my honest opinion. Why? Because I believe that with all that we've indicated in the démarche to the US to remind of all that we've been doing, discussing with them, been doing and so forth and so on, I believe that list maybe came from a place, if it's true, if the list is true, a place of lack of adequate information on all the steps we've taken. And that's why we're sharing the steps with them, informing them, for example, the steps we're taking on ICAO, PKD. I'm not so sure they were aware of the ICAO steps we are taking. But also to be aware of the issue of overstay. Now, this is something where we're discussing the security issues. The U.S. government continues to remind us about our overstay rate in the United States, including from officials with privileged passports that go to the U.S. and do not return, go and overstay, and it's causing the country as a whole a problem. Our bigger problem on visa is not from the passport. Our biggest problem on visa is overstay, and we have to acknowledge that problem and work on it together. Now, we've gone to the extent of having meetings with the consular section to understand how they define overstay. We asked them, how do you define overstay, so we can educate our population? They indicated to us that when you do your interview at the consular section and you tell them you're going for 2 weeks and you're going to, for example, Philadelphia for 2 weeks and you're coming back. Of course, when you get to the border point of entry, you are given 6 months. And so a person is told, you have 6 months, and they go with the thinking that they have 6 months. They may have a relative in Atlanta or one in Minneapolis, getting ticket to go and visit. They end up staying maybe a month, but they still come out within 6 months. For us, from our perspective, it's not overstay. They told us no. It actually means that person shouldn't be going back to the US because they're not credible. Because when they came to the window, they told us they were going for 2 weeks, and regardless of how much they're given at the point of entry, they should have come back, or they should have indicated to us that I went for the 2 weeks, but I had X, Y, and Z, and so I'm indicating to you that I'll be staying a little bit longer than what I told you, that they go by that in terms of going back to get a visa the second time. So you find many people are denied visa when they go back. They say, but I've been to America already, I've been denied. They told us it's because of issues like that. So it will require for all of us to work together to strengthen the visa situation with the US. But overstay is a major problem.
Right on that visa issue, Madam Minister, during your confirmation, we ask you, Senator Snowe raised that issue and will buttress it. And we got to be very, very courageous with some of these things. We are leaders of this country, and we should not shy away from standing up for our people. At the U.S. Embassy here, the treatment our people have to honor go here at this embassy is dehumanizing. It is completely out of honor, complete lack of respect for even the human dignity. And I must state it here today as a senator. Call our people, they are outside the gate, water rain beating them or not, and all that thing. Prime Minister, we raise this issue. What are you doing about it? Every time America put on one paper, the whole country shaking. When are we going to shake for America to do the right thing for us as well?
Senator Dillon, you are right in your recounting of the event.
All right. So, Senator Dillon, by the way, is a light bulb that has been burst. So let's listen to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. There's no politician in this country. Maybe there are others, right? Maybe Ellen, Snowe, and other people. But Senator Dillon understands the Liberian society. He knows how to maneuver his way around. So he knows when to say certain things to woo the public towards him. Anyway, we're not discussing Dillon. Let's discuss the restriction. And there's a key word that we need to consider. All right, Mark, can you define that word?
Okay, so the key word there is demarche because it is what the minister talking about when they received the information, they submitted the formally submitted a demarche to the American embassy.
What does demarche mean?
Demarche is referred to as formal diplomatic representation or a course of action, especially a political or diplomatic initiative or maneuver.
Michael, you know what's funny about learning?
Mm.
Back in grade school, I attended night school, night session, by the way, because I had some serious financial issues and as well as family issues. I used to like, sharing vocabulary with my friends. One of my favorite words, that word is 45 letters. Imagine it's my first time coming across the match. If I've memorized the word as long as the word like Pneumono silico volcano coniosis. Pneumono silico volcano macroscopic something like pneumono macroscopic silico pneumono.
So I wouldn't want to go around. I wouldn't want to go around that word before.
No, it is a 45 letter word. It is pneumono macroscopic silico volcano coniosis.
So why you are talking about a big word? Let me break this definition down in a seminar form, right?
Right.
You talk about a line of action, move or counter move.
Right.
Right. A line of action, move or counter move, maneuver, especially in diplomacy.
That's the reason why the minister explained that they have sent a demarche.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to her further, she said, we provided reasons why Liberia should not be on this list. So it is the demarche or the action of the foreign ministry is countering the report.
The report there.
First of all, there are two things here. Let's not forget. While we are moved by the word demarche, and I know to many people it's their first time. Open the lines to hear from people even me. To be honest, it's my first time coming across this word.
Right.
I mean, I love it. And, that's why my communication lecturer, one of my communication lecturers, Mr. Afonso Towe, would say, Matthias, you need to go and do foreign relation. You good guy. I mean, go and do it. You can't.
I guess that's your next way forward.
Probably. I mean, he just mirrored me being a diplomat.
Imagine my fires being a diplomat.
But I like the word. So she explained the word in her responses to the questions to Senator DeLong from the Senator DeLong, right? She said, first of all, we should not be on this list. Secondly, this information, we cannot trust the validity of the information. So we've communicated officially in the demarche. While they are countering the report, they are at the same time requesting explanation whether the U.S. government actually included Liberia on this list. You get the point? Whether Liberia is actually on this particular list. So, I mean, diplomacy is very sweet. If you understand diplomatic language,
thank you. That's a word. If you understand diplomacy, you don't just directly say it is sweet.
Yeah, no, it is sweet. I mean, when you listen to people, you listen to the way they present their stuff. No, my favorite all-time diplomat in the Republic of Liberia is Elias Shoneyin. That man is a consummate diplomat. But anyway, it's not about him. But let's hear from the public. What do you make of the foreign minister's position yesterday? The presentation at the ministry, at the legislature, open session, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was
public hearing.
Open. It was a public hearing. All right. So
she also indicated that if for any reason Liberia is placed on that black list or maybe yellow zone rather, it will be due to misinformation according to her, because they have been following all of the steps along the way up to today. So if for any reason Liberia name surfaces on that list, then in her mind it will be due to misinformation. But they are doing everything they can to counter that information. What I miss or this or correct or whatsoever way you want to describe it.
Michael, let's take about 2 or 3 calls. We have 5 minutes to 8 o'clock. The numbers are 0777777 107 077221223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. This is Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1 at 8 o'clock, this 8:05 this morning after the VOA news. I don't know when VOA is going to go off the air because Uncle Sam also hit them hard.
Okay, so
good morning.
Let's take the first person.
Good morning. Hello. Yeah, good morning. You're coming in. But wait, Aliyu, why do you say? Why do you? Hello.
Sometimes they will see the problem to solve a problem. They will not solve a problem. They want American people to come and tell you that you get problem before our people start running to solve problem. Why our country going Mataya? Because the problem say I get because you don't need another government to come and tell our government say that they what you're supposed to do before.
But Aliyu, hello.
Passport thing. That is started since the past government. The government come.
But how you say that is not getting me? Okay. Let's move on to another person. Good morning. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Mataya. Good morning. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Joseph Fremont. How you doing, brother-in-law? How you doing, man?
Hey. Very long. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank God, man. We around. How everything? How my sister and the family there?
Yeah, they okay. You know that your uncle is no more, so I will have to come to you to bring the Ramadan. Just tell me where to find you.
Okay.
Yeah, but go to the point anyway. Oh, Juzu, why did you leave? But anyway. Call us back on those numbers 0777 777 Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to Mark.
That's too.
Yeah, David.
Go ahead, David.
David E. Harris, now call from Benton Street this morning. Thank you for the show.
Welcome.
But Matthias, I thought our government has already dealt with this issue.
Which what issue now?
On the issue of OSK, I think the other day the U.S. ambassador was at the OKFM, and he and Karen discussed this thing lengthily on the issue of OSK. I thought he has been there with our government and the United States government. Because the reason why I'm stressing this, I think the government always have a sophistication that when a citizen from Liberia gone to the U.S. for a specific purpose in the OST, I think they have certain sophistication that they can ensure that they get you and deport you. But to have this coming on our back on the issue of visa restriction, I think it's not good for our country.
It's not confirmed yet anyway, so let's hold it like that. But thanks for your contribution.
Thanks.
My brother. Jusu, you gotta come back. I don't know why you left, but welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm back, Joseph Fremont.
Okay, Jusu, yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataya. Let me appreciate you so much for the show this morning.
Welcome.
You know, the issue about visa and overstay and what have you, I think the government need to take that seriously because people will jeopardize other people's chances of going to the state. Because when one person do something, when it comes to international relations, that the entire country, you representing your country. Even that's the reason why when you travel out, you should be very, very careful because any attempt on the contrary, it will reflect back on your country. So I think the government, whether they resolve it or whatsoever, they should try their possible best. The government, President Baka, should step in and make sure that particular issue with visa and overstay whatsoever should be clear. And to the foreign ministry came on last and said, oh, yeah, a lot of passports.
Sorry, Jusu, we have to leave you. We have to join the Voice of America for 5 minutes of news and be right back.
3-year war with Russia. The Associated Press says it was told by two senior Ukrainian officials that the delegation from Kyiv will propose a ceasefire with Russia covering the Black Sea and long-range missile strikes. The officials also said the delegation is prepared to sign an agreement with the U.S. on access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. The U.S. delegation will be led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, while the Ukrainian side will be led by Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha and Andrei Yermak, President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff. During his flight to Jeddah Monday, Rubio said the U.S. is eager to understand what concessions Ukraine might be willing to make.
We'll need to see, without, maybe we won't go into great details, we're not going to be sitting in a room drawing lines on a map, but just get a general sense of what concessions are in the realm of the possible for them and what they would need in return, and then find out what the Russian position is in that regard, and that'll give us a pretty good assessment of how far apart we truly are.
Rubio met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah Monday. The Crown Prince held a separate meeting with President Zelensky in Riyadh earlier in the day. Asian stock markets fell sharply Tuesday in the wake of Wall Street's worst decline of the year. Major indexes in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong were all down well over 1% in early afternoon trading. All three major U.S. stock indexes slumped Monday after President Donald Trump declined to predict whether his proposed tariffs would result in an economic recession during an interview with Fox News on Sunday. This is VOA News. The S&P 500 fell 2.7%, its biggest one-day drop this year, while the Nasdaq slid 4% and the Dow Jones dropped 2%. Former President Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines has been arrested on a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Duterte was detained by officials from the global law enforcement agency Interpol in the capital Manila after he returned from a trip to Hong Kong. The ICC has charged Duterte of committing crimes against humanity related to his bloody crackdown on illicit drug trafficking that left thousands of citizens dead during his 6-year presidency that ended in 2022. Syria's Kurdish-led militia has reached an agreement to merge with the country's new interim government. The agreement was announced Monday by the Syrian presidency. The accord says the U.S.-led Syrian Democratic Forces, which controls much of the country's oil-rich northeast, will integrate all civil and military institutions with the government in Damascus by the end of the year. Since interim President Ahmad Shara's Islamist forces overthrew President Bashar al-Assad in December, groups backed by Turkey, one of Shara's main supporters, have clashed with the SDF, the main ally in a U.S. coalition against Islamic State militants in Syria. The agreement was forged amid mass killings of members of al-Assad's minority Alawite sect in western Syria. Shara said the mass killings were a threat to his mission to unite the country and promised to punish those responsible, including his own allies, if necessary. Here's Reuters correspondent Olivia Zolino.
Shara blamed pro-Assad groups backed by foreigners for triggering the bloodshed, but acknowledged that revenge killings had followed. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based war monitoring group, said that as of Sunday night, as many as 973 Alawite civilians had been killed in revenge attacks. More than 250 Alawite fighters and more than 230 members of the security forces have also died in the conflict. Shara said 200 members of the security forces had been killed in the unrest. He declined to say the overall death toll, pending an investigation by an independent committee. While he blamed the outbreak of violence in recent days on a former military unit loyal to Assad's brother and an unspecified foreign power, he acknowledged that in response, quote, many parties entered the Syrian coast and many violations occurred.
That was Reuters correspondent Olivia Zolino. VOA's podcast, The Issue, takes you beyond the headlines, diving into the stories shaping our world. That wraps up this update, but the world and news never stop. For additional updates, visit our website, voanews.com. I'm Richard Green, VOA News.
Wataka kuniua bure baba, wataka kuniua bure baba. Yule si wako nami si wangu, chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe? Chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe? Le mama, hasira za nini we bwana, hasira za nini we bwana, wataka kuniua bure baba, wataka kuniua bure baba. Wako hayuko, wangu hayuko, chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe, kati yangu mimi na wewe. Le mama, hasira za nini we bwana, hasira za nini we bwana, wataka kuniua bure baba, wataka kuniua bure baba. Wewe una wako nyumbani na mimi nina wangu nyumbani, chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe? Chukia nini kati yangu mimi na wewe? Nasema sina makosa we bwana, sina makosa we bwana, ayo sina makosa we bwana.
You know, Magia has a way of putting a smile on my face every morning by going right back into the 80s, the 70s, and bringing me music that will make me amaze my grandfather and think about sweet moments we had together, conversations he used to have. One of the things that he said to me that I've not forgotten it is that I'm a woman and a small ball, and I cannot forget that. I know what it meant to me being in the 8th grade and being preparing to be a father. That was it was a turning point for me, a painstaking turning point. You know, when you don't have, if you do not have people to sit down and have conversation with that will guide your life, most times it becomes really difficult for you to navigate through the challenges of life. My grandfather used to say, know where you come from, know where you stand, and know where you are headed. Good morning and a pleasant welcome to another fascinating edition of the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We are here Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. My name is Matthias Labindi, and I'm here with my colleague Mark Elbayo. This morning, we are privileged. I say privileged because some of these organizations, you barely see them around coming to have a conversation about what they do, what they stand for, who they are, and what they give to the society. In a small, we do a favor, but it's also a privilege to have young women in the studio talking about issues affecting their community. And for that, I'm privileged to introduce Girls for Change Initiative, hereby with its own founder, Madam Christiana M. Bimba, is a young Liberian and the founder and executive director of G4CI. As a young girl growing up, let me tell you a little thing about Christiana, what she said. She said, my name is Christiana M. Bimba, a young Liberian, founder and executive director of G4CI. As a young girl growing up, I feel the pain these young girls are going through. As I was struggling with this heavy confusion in my mind, how to help those young girls, God lay on my heart a vision to establish a girls' organization that will focus on providing both physical, spiritual help, and spiritual help to young. I'm deeply moved to establish an organization named Girls for Change Initiative, G4 for short. And by the special grace of God, in obedience to his love, we are also grateful to introduce Christiana and her colleague Jessica Wise. She's Christiana Mbemba and Jessica Wise. They are here with us this morning to talk to us about girls, whether they're going to be educating the girls this morning, what this organization, I mean, everything about it. So you too can join the conversation. We are live on Sky Communications Lab Bureau Facebook page. Join us. Let's have a conversation. Drop your comments and give them a pat on the back. Don't wait until some of our sisters are found in the graveyards where they sleep with these boys, and then some of the boys are wayward. The ones that are waking up and saying, you know what, we want to be the change makers. Let's give them a pat on the back. Good morning, Chris. Welcome.
Good morning, Matthias. Good morning. I really appreciate.
Happy to see you again.
Yes, me too.
Right, it's been a long time.
Really, yeah.
I mean, last time was what, breakfast after the meeting at the your office.
Yes. Right. We had a very good breakfast. I love eggs. I really love eggs. Very well, and I'm so grateful to be here. God has really been faithful, and we can see His faithfulness. And we're here to talk about that.
Jessica, how are you?
I'm fine.
It's my first time meeting you. I'm already liking you. I mean, your smile is really, really beaming, and keep it up. How are you doing? Is Jessica's mic on? Yeah, let's try that again. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's good to have you here, Chris.
Yes.
Let's start this conversation.
Let's go.
This morning I shared a story. Michael Mark had one day a boss and I situation. It was really too much of a terrible one. So there's this lady that entered the boss, and she had this heavy bag. How you ladies carry some big bags? No, but I could tell there was weight weighing her down. So I observed and said, "Okay, come and take a seat. Take mine. I will stand."
Okay.
And in less than a minute, a fellow attacked me. He seemed a bit alien of our culture. So he was like, "You guys are the one making women arrogant and that. Where you going to get up from a seat and give a woman seats?" But before the war, Chris, these are doctrines that we were taught.
Yes.
Respect a woman, because respect is reciprocal. You know that you're going to get married, your wife is going to humble you, but respect the woman. Today, you're saying in your organization, I read everything, the brochures you sent me, that since the end of the world, things have changed.
Yes.
What changes have you observed?
There are a lot of things that have changed, and that's what we're on this mission. And like I said in my statement, growing up has been really interesting one. So there, in terms of sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Things have changed in terms of equality, in terms of reliance. So what I think is that things have changed, most especially for young women and young girls growing up, because the society think that it is only a guy that should make an impact, and it's not that. But because we are all created in the image and the likeness of God, and most of the things that have changed is that people have believed that females are just meant to be a home kind of person. And like you ask a girl, that most girls that will come across, you ask and say, you ask like, what do you want to become? They say, I just want to become a wife. And it should be beyond that. Because why? They see their mothers just being a female that is just home. She's taking care of them, doing this, which of course it is one of the main things that should be done, but it does not stop there. There are more to that. So a lot of things have changed that people think, and most times, even for a girl to finish high school is a problem, because you feel like, what am I? I mean, they don't have their passion because of how they see themselves and how they see the society is going with their mothers and aunties and everything. You realize that a girl would just say, okay, I don't think there's anything that can come out of me because look at my mom, look at my auntie. Even with the issues of marriage, you realize that we grow like this weakness in us and say, this is just it. I don't think I have anything to do about it. So you notice that for a girl to really stand up and tell you, I want to become like this, I want to become like that, it's serious. Like we've been in the counties and you will get to know that they're just in that box and just think that I just can't do it.
And you've done some outreach.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, we have done a lot of outreach, and most of our programs is mostly outside of Mozzarella because the burden for this mission is mostly outside. That's where we get to experience and interact with young ladies from
that are actually faced with the reality that you are
reality
addressing.
of life.
You seem to be an organization that's coming to tap on this fertile potential and a gap between
intend to really push there's more.
Okay.
I don't when I guy or the man, but the word is to know you. They deserve to see you what you're meant to do. Life just have to just be in a box for you and right. It becomes a problem. Like they're going to tell you that I really don't know. Live to the fullness of what they are meant to do. Making girls have that confidence in them, making them feel, and that's why we're so grateful that we are always from older women start to talk to a girl. Oh, please, you already live your life, but we want our life. So when God was bringing this to me, He said, Christiana, I want a chair. We really get where touch people can do this. I can do this. So it's not about a older woman coming before you to tell you, but there's a girl that has been growing step by step. So we are young girls that felt this passion, and we know that we have found out that there's so much more